Alright, so the Federal Reserve is trying to signal that they are going to be going up with a 50 basis point increment for the next FOMC meeting rate hikes. And of course, this is going to be setting off some alarms for people, because people are thinking that what if the rate hikes is going to go all the way to next year? And of course, we're talking about, maybe halfway in the next year, we're still going to be seeing rate hikes. So of course, we have to talk about multiple reports that we actually had previously, which is your employment reports, your CPI, especially the next one that is upcoming. Stay tuned for the expectation video for the CPI on Saturday. I'll be uploading that, mostly going through CPI expectation, or I think how inflation is going to be inflecting upwards or downwards and things like that. Alright, so a lot of time right now, a lot of the Federal Reserve officials, they are actually expecting the next FOMC meeting to be a 50 basis point increment. Because in the previous three FOMC meeting, we had a 75 basis point increment, or a 0.75% increase in our interest rate hike. Okay, that was the past three meetings. Right now, for this meeting, a lot of people are thinking that it's most likely going to be a 50 basis point increment. However, do understand that the only reason why people are thinking that it could be a 50 basis point increment is because in the past three meetings, it was a unanimous decision for them to actually go with a 75 basis point increment. But this time around, a lot of the Federal Reserve Board members are thinking maybe a 75 basis point increment would be a little bit too harsh on this current economy cycle. Okay, so a lot of people are thinking, maybe there is a good possibility that we might actually be getting a 50 basis point increment. However, do understand that, a 75 basis point increment is not completely out of the possibility of realms, because I still think that a 75 basis point could kind of just slip into the market. And the fact that right now, a lot of people are actually thinking that the signals are here for a 50 basis point increment. The moment we actually get a 75 basis point increment, it's going to destroy the market, which is why we do not want to be pumping hopium into the market unnecessarily. Right now, we should always have the worst case scenario in mind, which is a 75 basis point increment or even a 100 basis point increment. Because just think about it this way, when CPI hits, for example, if CPI were to hit a 1%, I wouldn't completely take out a 100% basis point increment out of the realm of possibility, because that is definitely a possibility. Okay, so we have to talk about the whole 0.5%, 0.75%, and right now we have to also look at how a lot of the officials are thinking that, if rates are going to be going up between 4.5% and 5% next year. This brings back to what Jerome Powell said in the previous appearance that he had at the Brookings Institute, where he was actually thinking that the terminal rates is not going to be going up towards of 5%. That's what he thinks. Okay, so hopefully that will be the case. If we think that the landing zone might actually fall between 4.75 or even 5.25%, somewhere along those lines. Personally, for Jerome Powell, he was talking about how it will not be over 4.8%, apparently. Okay, well, a lot of us are already booking in the worst case scenario, which is like 6% or something insane, which is why we had a huge spike, a rally, if you may, in the previous days. But right now in the market, it's starting to kind of just draw back a little bit, because people are still worried that because whatever Jerome Powell is saying does not actually constitute into something that, we do not have to worry about, because the employment data that came up a week after Jerome Powell talked in the Brookings Institute came out with 263,000 jobs as compared to the 200,000 jobs that we were expected to have, which is a very, very hot labor market. And Jerome Powell said it himself that, he would actually want to look at labor market as one of the core contributors to how he would be moving the interest rate up or downwards. So I think that's going to be very, very important, especially once we see that labor market is actually going up pretty high. That's going to be a standing signal for us to be, just be a little bit worried. Especially, on top of that, when CPI or PCE comes out, if that remains to be high, I think Jerome Powell is not going to, he's not going to stop. He's not going to slow down. He's not going to pause rates. I think that he's going to go straight for the next 75 basis point or even 100 basis point, even though the fact that Jerome Powell even, he even doubled down on the fact that he would not want to rug pull the entire market and afterwards just clean up. Of course, this is not verbatim. He basically said that he do not want to rug pull the market and clean up afterwards. He thinks that that method would be a lot worse. So a lot of time we are thinking that maybe he would most likely want to kind of just ease into the market a little bit, look at different economical levels before he actually inch out and so on and so forth. So right now, that's why the thing is that a lot of us are thinking that there is the possibility that the 50 basis point increment would kind of align with what Jerome Powell just said, which is, let's not rug pull the market, let's kind of just inch in a little bit and see how it goes. And let's just say this 50 basis point increment do not work out. The next one, instead of doing a 50 basis point, they can just go back to a 75 basis point increment all over again and just kind of like give back whatever that they didn't take this time around. Okay, so yeah, I just want to say, do not have so much hopium that the market is going to be good. I don't think that we are completely out of the woods just yet. Again, I do want to, reiterate the fact that, a lot of people are expecting this to be a very, very smooth sailing. People are just completely going bullish in the market. Of course, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go bullish in the market, because I am pretty bullish in the market. If anything, yesterday I actually increased more of my position into Apple. Again, big fan of Apple. Okay, I saw Apple actually went down a little bit and I just bought more of Apple. Right now, my Apple position is pretty hefty. It's actually in my top 3 position right now. So I'm very happy to see what Apple is going to be doing in the next few years, hopefully. I'm not sure if I'm going to be selling some of my Apple to get more cash back to see how it goes. Or I would just be fully invested into Apple. I'm not sure how that would actually go on from here on out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of video. Stay tuned for the Saturday video on the CPI expectation. I think that's going to be a very, very informative video, especially because we are going to be seeing, most likely, well, it's not exactly the last CPI of the year, but it's most likely the last CPI report of the year, because it's going to be reflecting from November. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.